Welcome back to Surviving the Supernatural. Welcome back to our Tips to Survive series here on the Cryptid Whisperer channel. If you've enjoyed our past adventures into the eerie and unknown, buckle up, because today we're diving deep into some seriously spooky territory with a creature that's nightmare fuel incarnate, the infamous Rake. For those new to the channel, this series is all about equipping you with the know-how to not just encounter the otherworldly and live to tell the tale, but to do it while keeping your cool and most of your sanity. We've tackled vampires, zombies, and even the odd hairy beast. But today, we're focusing on a beast that's been chilling bones since it crept out of the darkest corners of creepypasta lore into our very real and very frightened world. So, whether you're a seasoned veteran of the supernatural or just a curious newcomer with a taste for the terrifying, you're in the right place. Today's tips are designed to help you navigate an encounter with the Rake, keeping you one step ahead of its claws and, hopefully, off its dinner menu. Grab your flashlights, say a quick prayer to your favorite deity, and let's get into the survival spirit. These 10 tips might just save your life one day, or at the very least, make for an epic story at your next campfire gathering. Let's get started, and remember, staying alive is the ultimate goal, but a little laughter along the way never hurt anyone. Unless you're laughing at the Rake, then maybe run faster. Tip 1. Know your enemy. Alright, strap in and let's kick off with the golden rule of not dying a horrific death. Know your enemy. This creepy critter, the Rake, looks like Voldemort and Gollum had a love child that was raised by the Demogorgon from Stranger Things. So yeah, not the cuddliest of creatures. Now, imagine a creature so ghastly, so terrifying, that even the bravest souls would shit bricks at the mere sight of it. That's the Rake, skin paler than a computer programmer in midwinter, eyes so bulgy you'd swear they're about to pop out and roll away like some twisted Pixar gag. Knowledge is power, folks. And in this case, it's also your ticket to not being spontaneously disemboweled. So here's what you gotta know. The Rake is a nocturnal nightmare that's got a face only a mother could love, assuming the mother is blind in both eyes and has no sense of touch, smell, or, self-respect. First reported on creepypasta, because where else would such a fucked up monster come from, right? This dude is all limbs and anger, kinda like your ex when you forget their birthday. But unlike your ex, this guy won't settle for keying your car. No, he's more into that personal touch, like rearranging your internal organs while you're still using them. He's got these long, claw-like hands perfect for piano playing, if he wasn't more interested in playing your ribcage like a xylophone. Legend has it, he's silent, he's deadly, and he's not here to discuss the finer points of climate change or your vegan diet. He's here for one thing and one thing only, to add you to his Pinterest board of pain. So, remember, if you're out there in the woods and you hear something that sounds like a cross between nails on a chalkboard and the anguished moans of a tortured soul, congrats, you're probably about to meet the Rake. Don't ask for an autograph. Don't try to Snapchat it. Just run like you're the star in the worst reviewed horror movie of the season. Tip 2. Lights on. Always. Let's talk about your next line of defense against becoming the Rake's midnight snack. Illumination. The Rake has a relationship with light similar to that of a hungover college student. The mere sight of it sends him scurrying back into the shadows, muttering curses. Picture this. It's like showing up to a vampire rave and flipping on the overhead fluorescents. Party over. Exit vampires. Enter chaos. That's right. Flipping the light switch is essentially throwing holy water in Dracula's face. And for the Rake, any light brighter than the dim glow of a dying firefly is about as welcome as a fart in a spacesuit. So, what's the game plan? Simple. You want to light up like Times Square at New Year's. If you're going into Rake territory, bring enough lumens to light up a small village. We're talking flashlights, headlamps, floodlights strapped to your chest, and heck, if you can rig up a disco ball with spotlights, You'd not only disorient him, but also throw a hell of an impromptu forest rave. Remember, the Rake is essentially the creepiest moth you'll ever meet, drawn to darkness like a millennial to avocado toast. Your goal is to become a walking lighthouse. The brighter, the better. Think of yourself as a human torch, minus the whole bursting into flames business. Fantastic Four rights reserved. And here's a pro tip. Always carry backup batteries. There's nothing more pants-shittingly terrifying than fumbling in the dark for fresh AAAs while a monster straight out of your worst nightmares is sizing up the best way to serve your liver. I mean, who wants to be in the middle of the woods screaming, "Hold on, Mr. Rake, sir, just gotta change my batteries," like some low-budget horror flick victim? Not you. So gear up, light up, and brighten up the night. Turn yourself into an obnoxious beacon of screw you to any lurking horrors. Because when it comes to the Rake, the best way to say "not today, buddy" is with a face full of good old-fashioned lumens. Tip 3. Secure your sleeping area. If you're planning on sleeping anywhere near where the Rake might be roaming, you better make Fort Knox look like a lemonade stand. I'm talking about turning your tent, camper, or back seat of your car into a veritable Rake-proof fortress. Let's be honest. Waking up to his face hovering over yours would be worse than discovering someone liked Nickelback on your Spotify account. First things first, your tent. This isn't the time for one of those flimsy pop-ups that blows over when someone sneezes 2 campsites over. You need something that says, "Not today, Satan." Think heavy-duty canvas, reinforced poles, and stakes that could double as vampire stakes in a pinch. And here's a hot tip. Sprinkle some salt around your tent. It's not just for seasoning. In the supernatural world, salt is like a keep-out sign. It's worth a shot, and at least your campsite will be slug-free. Now, for those of you sleeping in something with wheels, firstly, congrats on bringing your getaway vehicle to bed with you. Clever move. But don't get cocky. Lock those doors, reinforce those windows, and maybe invest in some curtains that don't scream, "I bought these at the dollar store." If the Rake can see in, he's already half invited to the party. Consider an alarm system too. And no, I don't mean tying some cans to a string. I'm talking about something that will genuinely make a racket if disturbed. Motion detectors, infrared sensors, hell, even a good old-fashioned tripwire with some bells on it. If the Rake decides to creep up, you want to be awake and ready to move, not drooling on your pillow. A real pro move? Set up a secondary perimeter around your sleeping area. Think of it as your personal DMZ. Nothing comes in, nothing goes out. This could be as simple as a ring of rocks with some more of that handy-dandy salt, or if you're feeling crafty, a circle of protective symbols. Got a book on ancient runes? Now's the time to use it. Worst case, you've got some nice decorative stones around your tent. Lastly, practice a quick escape plan. Know exactly what you're going to do if you hear the zipper of your tent slowly begin to open in the middle of the night. Hint: it shouldn't involve checking if it's just the wind. Spoiler: it's never just the wind. Have your keys, shoes, and sense of self-preservation at the ready. Because when it comes to sleeping in Rake territory, the best offense is a good defense, coupled with the willingness to run like hell in your pajamas. Tip 4. Arm yourself. When it comes to mythical creatures like the Rake, it's not about being paranoid. It's about being prepared. So, let's talk about arming yourself. Because believe it or not, bringing a knife to a cryptid fight might just keep you from being the main course at the Rake's midnight snack. First rule of Rake Club? Don't talk about Rake Club. Unless it's about weaponry, then by all means, share away. You're not looking to gear up for a medieval battle, but you should have something that makes you feel a bit less like an easy target. Think less Excalibur, more practical, like a sturdy knife or a good old-fashioned baseball bat. If it's good enough for fending off burglars, it's good enough for cryptid encounters. Now, you might be thinking, can I really take on the Rake with a knife? And to that, I say, why the hell are you planning to get that close? This isn't a duel at dawn. This is about having a last line of defense. If the rake is close enough that you're thinking about using a knife, things are already way south. The goal here is to have enough of a deterrent to make your escape, not to go toe-to-toe with a nightmare. For those who fancy a bit more distance between themselves and potential disembowelment, consider something like pepper spray. It's small, it's potent, and it'll give you those precious few seconds you need to make a break for it. Just be sure you're spraying in the right direction, because the last thing you need is to be blind and flailing while something out of a horror story is sizing you up. An often overlooked but critical aspect of arming yourself is knowing how to use whatever you choose. A weapon is only as good as your ability to wield it. If you opt for a knife, know the basics of knife safety and handling. If you go for pepper spray, practice using it, not on your friends, please. Familiarize yourself with your tool of choice so that in a moment of panic, muscle memory can take over where your screaming brain might not. Remember, the goal isn't to become a monster hunter overnight. It's to ensure you can live to hike, camp, or foolishly investigate spooky sounds another day. Keep it simple, keep it safe, and most importantly, keep it on you. Because when you're out in the woods and the rake is on the prowl, the last thing you want is to be caught unarmed. Tip 5. Use the buddy system. Going into potentially haunted woods where a creature like the rake might be lurking is like deciding to binge-watch horror movies alone at 3 a.m. It's a terrible idea to go it solo. Always bring a buddy. This isn't just about having someone to share in the inevitable therapy sessions. It's about survival. First off, having a friend means you've got extra eyes and ears. This is crucial because while you're fumbling with the map or getting tangled in your own backpack straps, your buddy can keep watch. Remember, the rake is sneaky. He's not going to come at you in a straight charge while cackling maniacally, though honestly, that would be less terrifying. No, he's going to try and catch you off guard, and having a buddy drastically reduces your chances of being taken by surprise. Second, there's strength in numbers. It's a basic survival tactic. Wolves do it, birds do it, even educated fleas do it. Okay, maybe not the fleas. If the rake sees 2 of you, that's twice the risk for him. Most predators, supernatural or not, prefer easy prey. Plus, if one of you gets into trouble, the other can run for help, or at least live to tell the tale and keep your memory alive, ideally in a heroic light. Now, choosing the right buddy is key. This isn't the time to bring along that friend who thinks a spooky night out is the perfect opportunity to try out their new, untested herbal relaxation remedies. You want someone reliable, someone who can keep their cool when the branches start snapping around you. Maybe someone who actually remembers to bring the batteries for the flashlight, unlike last time, Steve. It's also a good practice to have a plan. Discuss what you'll do in an emergency before you even set foot in the woods. Who takes the lead? What's the signal for, it's time to get the hell out of here? Establishing these basics can prevent panic and save precious time when seconds count. So, grab your most dependable, least likely to trip over their own feet friend, and make them your official rake-watching buddy. Not only will it increase your chances of survival, but you'll also have someone to back you up when you tell the story later. No one wants to be the lone weirdo claiming they saw the rake, but 2 weirdos? Now you're getting somewhere with credibility. Tip 6. Avoid his known haunts. Let's cut to the chase. If you know a place is a favorite hangout for the rake, maybe don't add it to your weekend getaway list. Venturing into known rake hotspots is like sending a dinner invitation to Dracula himself. You're practically setting the table for trouble. Think of it this way. Imagine there's a bar downtown where every time you go, you end up in a fight. Would you keep going back? Hell no. Apply the same logic to the rake. If there's a creepy, abandoned orchard where 3 hikers mysteriously vanished last summer, maybe choose a different spot for your picnic. It's not just about being safe, it's about not being stupid. You'd think this would be common sense, right? But no. There's always some thrill seeker or wannabe paranormal investigator thinking they're going to be the one to get a selfie with the rake and live to post it. Spoiler alert, it never ends well. You won't see their epic encounters on Instagram. You'll read about them in the unexplained mysteries section of the local news. And if you're thinking, but I'm different, I can handle it. Let me be clear. You're not, and you probably can't. The Rake doesn't care about your high school track records or how many horror movies you've sat through without flinching. To him, you're just another headline waiting to happen. Here's a better plan. Do your research. Check local legends and recent reports. Forums, news articles, creepy pasta tales. Gather all the intel you can. Knowledge is power, and in this case, it's also a great deterrent. Knowing where not to go can be just as valuable as knowing all the survival tips combined. So, mark those Rake zones on your map with a big red X, and then plan your route way the hell around them. There are plenty of spooky places in the world where you can get your adrenaline fix without risking a face-to-face with nightmarish cryptids. Keep it smart, keep it safe, and keep it Rake-free. Tip 7. Noise is your friend. When dealing with the Rake, making noise isn't just about having a good time. It's about survival. Consider this. In the natural world, many animals make noise to scare off predators. You, my friend, are going to crank that up to 11. If the Rake is your predator, then you're the human equivalent of a peacock fanning its feathers. Only, instead of feathers, you've got air horns, clanging pots, and the most obnoxious playlist you can find on Spotify. First things first, let's talk gear. Grab yourself an air horn or a portable siren. Yes, the kind that can wake the dead or at least make them wish they had earplugs. This isn't the time to be shy about your noise level. When you think you're making too much noise, make more. The goal is to be so annoying that the Rake thinks twice about coming any closer. Think of yourself as a walking, talking deterrent. But don't just rely on gadgets. Your voice is a powerful tool too. Ever been to a sports game and screamed your lungs out? Channel that energy. Shout, sing, recite Shakespeare in an obnoxiously loud voice. Whatever it takes to keep the Rake at bay. Just picture yourself as the lead in a one-person Broadway show that absolutely no cryptid wants to see. Now, while noise can help deter the Rake, it's also about alerting others to your presence. If you're in trouble, loud noises can draw the attention of fellow hikers or park rangers, basically anyone who can help you not become tonight's cryptid snack. It's the wilderness version of yelling fire in a crowded theater, except you're actually encouraging the crowd to come to you. And let's not forget the psychological aspect. Making noise can also help keep your spirits up and your mind sharp. There's something about belting out the chorus to Bohemian Rhapsody that keeps the fear at bay and your morale high. Plus, it's hard to feel scared when you're passionately air guitaring to Queen. So, pack that whistle, charge that megaphone, and warm up those vocal cords. In the realm of the Rake, silence is not golden. It's downright dangerous. Make enough noise, and you might just annoy that nightmare fuel into leaving you alone. After all, not even the Rake can deal with a terrible rendition of Wonderwall on repeat. Tip 8. Don't try to reason with it. Listen up, because this is important. The Rake is not your misunderstood movie monster looking for a heartwarming moment of human connection. This isn't Beauty and the Beast. You're not going to change his predatory habits with a heartfelt speech or a tender look. The Rake isn't here to make friends or learn about the power of love. He's here for much darker purposes. Don't make the rookie mistake of thinking you can reason with something that looks like it's stepped straight out of your worst nightmare. There's no common ground, no bargaining, no asking it to maybe consider not being a horrifying creature for the evening. You're dealing with a being that defies rational thought and operates on a level of spooky that most horror writers only wish they could conjure up. And for heaven's sake, don't try to empathize with it. The Rake doesn't care about your feelings, your dreams, or the fact that you're 2 weeks away from your wedding. Trying to appeal to its better nature is like trying to convince a shark that kale salads are more satisfying than surfers. It's futile, and you'll likely just end up more frustrated, or worse, more dead. Instead of wasting your breath on diplomacy, use your energy to maintain vigilance. Keep your eyes peeled, your senses sharp, and your survival instincts on high alert. Remember all those horror movies where the villain gets the upper hand because someone tried to talk it out? Yeah, let's learn from their mistakes. Keep it simple. If you see the Rake, or even sense that he's near, it's time to implement every escape strategy you've prepared. No pausing for dramatic dialogue, no monologues about human perseverance. Just turn on your heel and hightail it out of there as fast as your legs can carry you. In summary, when it comes to surviving an encounter with the Rake, forget about negotiation. It's not a debate club member, it's a monster. Save your breath for running and your reasoning skills for figuring out the fastest route back to civilization. Tip 9. Keep moving. If you've wandered into the Rake's territory, remember this mantra. Keep moving, and for the love of all that is holy, don't stop to tie your shoe. The Rake is like that weird guy at the gym who just won't stop staring. It thrives on catching you off guard. The moment you pause to catch your breath might be your last. So channel your inner Forrest Gump and just keep running. Here's the deal. The Rake is an ambush predator. It's less like a lion, which might chase down its prey on the savannah, and more like that horrifying spider that waits silently in its web for something to make the wrong move. So, the best defense against becoming an entry in its dinner diary is to not give it the opportunity. Think about it like you're in one of those video games where the floor falls away behind you. If you stop, you're toast. Keep your pace steady and your path unpredictable. Throw in a zigzag here and there, maybe backtrack a little, confuse the heck out of it. The goal is to make the Rake doubt its own hunting prowess. And let's not forget stamina. I'm not saying you need to train like you're running a marathon, but maybe don't skip leg day quite so often. Consider your foray into Rake territory as the ultimate motivation to keep fit. Nothing says cardio day, quite like being hunted by a creature straight out of a creepypasta. But what if you absolutely must stop? Maybe your shoe really does come untied. Or you need to check the map because, let's face it, running aimlessly can get you even more lost. If you have to pause, make it brief. Survey your surroundings, listen carefully for any sounds that don't belong in the woods, and keep one hand ready on whatever self-defense tools you brought along. So, in essence, treat every venture into the Rake's domain as if you're on the most intense hike of your life. Stay alert, stay agile, and above all, keep those feet moving. It's not just a good survival tactic. It's an excellent way to ensure you don't end up as the main character in a cautionary tale told around campfires. Tip 10. Tell someone where you'll be. All right, final tip, and listen up, because this one could literally save your life. Before you go marching off into Rake territory, whether it's for thrill-seeking, cryptid hunting, or just because you took a wrong turn, make sure someone knows where you're going. It's the outdoor equivalent of updating your software. Seems annoying, but prevents major disasters. You might think it's cool to go off the grid, tell no one, and just immerse yourself in nature, but let's be real. If the Rake decides to crash your solo party, who's gonna know? Your cat? Your increasingly moldy sourdough starter? No. You need an actual human being who can call for help or at least start panic posting on your social media when you don't come back on time. And don't just tell them, I'll be somewhere near that old creepy forest. Be specific. Drop a pin on Google Maps, share your GPS coordinates, or draw an X on a map with the words, "If I'm not back by Tuesday, start worrying," circled around it. The more precise you are, the easier it will be for rescuers to find you, or at least recover the GoPro footage for a viral YouTube tribute. It's like setting up a safety net. Choose a reliable person, not the friend who forgets to bring the beer to a barbecue, and establish check-in times. If you're out for a day hike, maybe check in when you reach certain landmarks. If it's a multi-day expedition, agree on daily contacts. And yes, "I'm still alive" is a perfectly acceptable update. Remember, cell service can be as sketchy in remote areas as a politician's promises, so consider alternative communication methods. Maybe rent a satellite phone, or invest in one of those fancy GPS devices that let you send SOS signals when things go sideways. Wrapping this up, always let someone know your plans. It's simple, it's effective, and it could mean the difference between becoming an eerie, unsolved mystery or the protagonist in a triumphant survival story. So text your mom, your buddy, or even your ex, desperate times, right? And keep them in the loop. And there you have it, folks. 10 crucial tips for surviving an encounter with the Rake. If you've stuck with us through this eerie expedition, congratulations. You're now better prepared to handle one of the creepiest cryptids to crawl out of the shadowy depths of internet lore. Remember, while it's thrilling to dive into the mysteries of the unknown, safety is paramount. We're all about seeking adventure and exploring the unexplained here at Cryptid Whisperer, but let's keep it smart and secure. Use these tips as your guide, not just for encounters with the Rake, but for any supernatural entity that might cross your path in the dark corners of the world. If you enjoyed this survival guide, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on our future explorations. And of course, if you've got your own creepy tales or tips to share, drop a comment below. We love hearing from our brave community of the curious and the bold. Stay safe, stay curious, and until next time, keep your lights on and your feet moving. Who knows what we'll uncover next in this strange and wonderful world of ours? Thanks for watching, and remember, the best way to conquer fear is to face it with knowledge and a good dose of humor.